right, rewatchers, welcome back. We've stepped through that time portal, and it's time for another retro rewatch. Today we've got another mail day, and I have no idea how long this is going to take because I actually have a whole lot of packages over here. It's been a little while since I've been able to record one, so I've got a bunch of deliveries. So I've done kind of what we've done in the past. I've cut through the tops of them, but I haven't looked at them yet. So hopefully we'll have a nice treasure trove here to unbox and look at, and maybe we'll be able to talk about some good films. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first one is one I really know very little about, but it's something that I have high interest in. What we have here is a release from Arrow Home Video, and it is the Last Video Store. This is kind of a just a love letter to the 80s. It is a film that takes place with a 20-year-old now, like with her father passing and having a whole bunch of VHS tapes and having to return it to the store. And just, I don't know, I think craziness ensues. I really know very little about it other than that, other than it gets really good reviews in the circles that it is reviewed in. And it is a limited edition release by Arrow Video, and I expect it to have a good transfer, and I expect it to be a fun movie to watch. All right, so that's number one. Actually, we're going to set that over here. All right, number two. Let's see what we got here. All right, something from the UK. Okay, actually, this is another Arrow video. So that Arrow video actually came from Arrow Video US. This one comes from Arrow Video UK. And this one is the 4K release of The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. This is directed by Kim Jee-woon. He's the guy that directed A Tale of Two Sisters, which is an absolutely fantastic movie. It's one of the greatest ghost stories ever told. It's a very freaky film. It's got a very good twisty story. Would highly, highly recommend A Tale of Two Sisters. This is also a limited edition release. You can actually see this thing's got some size to it. I don't even know what all's in here. So it's got two disc limited edition. I'm a gambling. It's probably got some books or something. Uh, Yep, it's got some limited edition packing, collector's book featuring new writing by a whole bunch of people. Um, it's got a cast in it that would probably be even be recognizable to people over here. It's got Park Chung-yi, who was in A Bittersweet Life, and then it's got Yoon Tae-gu, who was in Parasite. Um, but this is another movie that I don't know a whole lot about other than the fact of the people that worked on it. I've seen other movies that they've made and they were very, very good. And I've been very interested to watch this, watching like a Korean Western. I mean, it's crazy. You look at it, it's got like motorbikes and horses and, strange guns and whatnot. Again, I think this is going to be a very fun movie to watch and I'm very excited to see it. This is by far the coolest release. Prior to this, it had not been released on 4K, so I'm expecting that to be a very good transfer. All right. Next, let's move on. Got a fairly sized box here. All right, so this is going to be from Blow It Out of Here off of eBay. There's actually four films in here. And they're all Humphrey Bogart, which we all remember Humphrey Bogart from Casablanca. But I'm actually a big Humphrey Bogart fan. Treasure of the Sierra Madre, the Maltese Falcon, and Casablanca. And then these are in the African Queen. I mean, the man's been in so many good movies. But so these are going to be Dark Passage. One thing that's supposed to be really unique about this, I think half of the movie is actually seen in first person perspective. And I'm kind of curious to see how they actually pull that off. And notice it's a Warner Archive collection, which means it's kind of a custom made kind of deal. They don't usually make a whole lot of those. We've got another one, The Big Sleep, another very famous Humphrey Bogart movie with Lauren Bacall in it. And it's another one, another film noir where he's a private eye. The Enforcer, which I'm assuming will be more like a where he's a mafioso, kind of like he is in the Roaring Twenties. And then finally, Angels with Dirty Faces. So three of the four were actually Warner Archive collections. And this Angels with Dirty Faces is also starring James Cagney and Pat O'Brien. So I don't know. I mean, clearly very old films. I don't know how many people watching the channel like films that are quite this old, but I love them. I mean, I love all films as long as they're very good. So we got three Warner Brothers and an Olive Films release, Paramount Pictures. All right. Next, we have what appears to be a Shout Factory. Let's see here. All right. So we have six films from Shout Factory. Let's go through them here. Oh, this is cool. All right, so first we have a 4K release of The Craft, which I haven't seen The Craft in 30 years. When did this thing come out? 94, 95, 96. So I would have seen it 96, 97. I would have seen it two or three times when it came out, but I haven't seen it since. I have very fond memories of this movie. This is back Fairuza Balk is actually the first build on this thing, and it wasn't long after this. I guess she was blackballed by Hollywood after she did The Island of Dr. Moreau, Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau, that I guess became Frankenheimer's Island of Dr. Moreau. But it also has Neve Campbell in it, which is the third build, and she actually went on to be very, very famous. You know, like the Scream films, and I think it was her that was in Wild Things. So I'm very excited to see this. And I actually got something else kind of neat with The Craft not terribly long ago. I have a signed laser disc with a signature by Fairuza Balk and by Nev Campbell, and both of them wrote something from the movie, like a quote from the movie on there. I think that'll be something fun for me to do for a magical movie memorabilia tour, which I need to get back to. I've kind of been doing mail days and other stuff, and I hadn't done a whole lot of memorabilia, but something we'll get back to. Next, we have a horror film, The Vigil, which is an IFC midnight release. Um, I'm very interested in this because I really like possession movies and movies that involve like the church and things like that. One thing that kind of worries me about this one, if I'm going to be honest, is it's PG-13, and I don't know, I'm kind of like weary of PG-13 movies, but this is one that gets fairly decent reviews from what I've read. I mean, not that I really believe much in Rotten Tomato scores, but it gets a high Rotten Tomato score, and so I'm hoping, and it was fairly cheap. I think it was like $7 on their Black Friday sale or something like that, which is where all these things came from. Next, another movie I haven't seen in like, I don't know, like 30, 35 years. Dragnet with Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks. Man, I loved this thing when I was a kid. There's a part of the movie where Dan Aykroyd gets his, well, was it Dan Aykroyd or Tom Hanks? It's been long enough now. I don't remember. One of them gets their foot run over by a car, and I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I think one of them shoots the other one, but I have very fond memories of this as a kid. And I know it's based off a TV series that I have. The movie probably didn't stick very close to the TV series, but I don't know. This is something that I may watch now and be like, wow, that was completely horrid. But again, this is one that it's always expensive, and it was on sale with the Black Friday sale. And so I decided to go ahead and get it. And I'm very much looking forward to watching that again. Ooh, next we have Alone in the Dark. This is clearly not the Christian Slater movie that came out around 2000. This is one from the 80s, where the setup of this is you've got Jack Palance, and you've got Martin Landau, and you've got Donald Pleasance, that are all like psychopaths that get out of, I think they get out of an insane asylum. I've never actually seen this one. They wind up doing a home invasion, but the tables get turned on them, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but I know several times on the channel we've mentioned my good friend Ryan Brewer, and this is a movie that he really liked. I designed custom covers for stuff, and he did as well. And this was actually one of the last covers that he designed before he really kind of lost the ability to do that. And so I had a lot of interest to see what interested him so much that it was one of the last covers that he created, one of the special covers. So very much looking forward to seeing that. All right. Next, we have, man, some people are probably going to give me crap for this one. We have The Crow Salvation. All right. So The Crow with Brandon Lee is an absolute all-time classic. I mean, the movie is nearly perfect. It's pretty much just about flawless. Has some of the worst sequels of any movie franchise ever. There's the new one that came out that I still haven't seen, but I've absolutely heard that it is a train wreck. And I think maybe the third video we ever did was on it. And so I got to be honest, this was like a guilty pleasure for me. Like, is it a great movie? No, it's not a great movie, not at all. But it's a very enjoyable movie. It's got Fred Ward in it. He's spoilers ahead. He's playing like a serial killer, and I feel like his what he does, he's got this thing where he shoves like these screws into his arm every time he kills somebody or something. It did have some fairly unique stuff in it, and Kirsten Dunst is in it, and Eric Mabius. I'm not an Eric Mabius fan at all. I kind of wonder if they had gotten anybody else to play the Crow other than Eric Mabius. I wonder how much better this would have been. Um, oh, lastly, now another one that I might get some crap for. I'm not sure, but so Arrow Home Video released Pitch Black to 4K, and then not terribly long ago they released the Chronicles of Riddick to 4K, and then somehow, some way, Riddick went to Scream slash Shout Factory. I have no idea why. Um, this, to me, everybody loves Pitch Black, and they're going to say I'm wrong for this. I mean, if you go to the IMDb and look, Pitch Black gets the highest rating, gets in the sevens, and then Chronicles of Riddick gets a little less, and then Riddick gets a little less than that. I don't know, man. Like Pitch Black to me, it's a good solid hour into that movie before anything really happens. I mean, it's a lot of setup, and I mean, the character of Riddick is cool, the character of Johns is cool, but man, I just wish they had more opportunity to do more stuff than what we really truly got in the movie. Because you only got about 30 to 35 minutes of them actually running from the creatures and dealing with the creatures. And I would have liked to have seen more thought put into how they would escape and what they would do and how they would do it than what we actually got. But with Chronicles of Riddick, it was a lot more grandiose. It was a lot more epic. It was closer to like a Star Wars for our time kind of thing. And I mean, it has some stuff in it that's kind of weird, like the weird um telepathic creatures that you could see through their brain to see what they could see. And I mean, it was inventive. I mean, did it make a whole lot of sense? No, not really, if I'm going to be honest. But I mean, it was unique. I mean, I got to give it to David Choi for that. And then after the Chronicles of Riddick, then you have Riddick, and it's kind of somewhere in between them. Like I feel like more happens and it has more stuff than Pitch Black had, but it is more closer to it than the epicness of the grandioseness of the Chronicles of Riddick. And I wish they'd hurry up and get off their tail and make Furia, because neither one of them. David Choi, I think, is in his 80s, and I mean, Vin Diesel's getting older as well. I think he's in his upper 50s at this point. So, I mean, I'd really like for him to hurry up and get it made. But I'm really looking forward to watching this. I'd really like to see it in 4K. Although it's funny because this thing's come out and almost immediately, every time like Scream or Arrow or any of these boutique labels put out something, I think because they're a boutique label and they're smaller and they're getting transfers from like Universal or whoever they're getting them from, I think they're kind of at the mercy sometimes of what they get. But apparently there is a scene in this where Riddick actually grabs a woman by her butt, gives her a little like cheek squeeze, and it's edited out. I got to be honest, how somebody realized that or noticed it, man, I noticed a lot in movies. I don't know that I would have picked up on that, but apparently it goes to a fade to black, and it's kind of been a thing online and on Reddit. So take that for what it is. But this is the limited edition release that's come out, and just kind of like with Hush, um, we've got a poster that's the same as the cover, the slip cover, and it's just the one. Whereas like Hush had the two different slip covers and the two different posters. That one just has one. All right, we're still going, guys. I told y'all this is a big one. For anybody that's still with me, God bless your soul. Oh, this is cool. I'm very excited about this. These things are huge. Oh my gosh, this is heavy. Lift some weights with these things. Yeah. Okay. So Severin Pictures put out two folk horror compendiums, All the Haunts Be Ours, Volume 1, and All the Haunts Be Ours, Volume 2. And these things are just absolutely massive. But the thing is, there's also like a whole lot going on in here. Like, I think the volume two has 24 movies in it on 13 discs. Volume one has 12 Blu-rays, three CDs, 20 films. I mean, this is just insane to think that Severin put all this together. I mean, this is amazing. Excuse me. But what it's going to be is it's just going to be a collection of folk horror films from around the globe, stuff that needs to be seen, stuff that is very atmospheric, environmental, and a lot of different ways to tell horror that Western audiences in particular probably haven't seen. Um, Look at that. That is huge. Like I said, again, you could put the two of them together and you're talking, let's see, you're talking 44 films there. Let's see, I want to see how heavy this is, just out of curiosity. All right, so that's like right at 5 pounds. So, I mean, you talk about a Blu-ray, this thing definitely brings the heat. So, I don't know. I can't talk specifically about any of the films in particular, like that I'm looking forward to watching this one or that one, but it's just kind of just in general. These get a lot of talk online on Reddit and a lot of love. So, I'm very much looking forward to checking them out, along with all the other stuff I want to check out. All right, guys, we got one left. I think we've got one left. Oh, and this one's wrapped in bubble wrap. I did. Maybe I'll be able to get it out quick. Oh, that went real quick, actually. Okay. So, not long ago, I did a magical movie memorabilia tour on an Evil Dead Book of the Dead, a Necronomicon. And I talked in that video about how on the second movie, they also created a Necronomicon release, Book of the Dead, but the one that I had deteriorated. Well, after doing that video, I wanted to get another one because I missed having my compendium, my two releases of the Necronomicon Book of the Dead. So that's what this is. For anybody that hasn't seen it or doesn't know, it's almost kind of like a media book. It's got a cover that is some kind of silicone, I think. And technically, you're supposed to be able to touch this eye and it'll scream at you, but I guess it's been long enough the battery has died that runs it. But this thing is absolutely beautiful how it does the artwork from the movies to try and emulate like the Necronomicon Book of the Dead. And we're just going to go ahead and go through it page by page. And then we get to the DVD. So the DVD in itself doesn't really mean much to me. I've got who knows how many releases of this thing on 4K and Blu-ray, Laserdisc, all manner of releases. But it's the movie memorabilia, having the first one and needing the second one. So that's it, guys. That's the end of the mail day. I have no idea how long that took. It felt like a little while. For anybody that stuck with me, I appreciate it. If you would, please leave a comment. Tell me which release you'd be the most excited about or the ones that you enjoy or love the most if you have it. Um, Let me know if you like this content or not. And if you would, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button so that we can try and continue to grow the channel. All right, fellas, guys, girls, ladies, rewatchers, we've hit the end of the tape. Time to hit the rewind button and get to that video store. See you next time.